Hi, and welcome to the World of Tanks test server, the Sandbox test server. Yeah, some new changes coming in. Possibly, maybe, depending on how the testing goes. Field modifications. So I've already set up my E100 here with some modifications. Let's just go and do that with this Panzer 7, so you guys can see what this is all about. So this is the Sandbox test server, so everyone like using it is gonna get a lot of free XP and stuff. So I don't have to grind stuff out here, but on the live server I would have to. So there are 8 levels of field modifications. One level costs 28,000 for experience. So it's if this is gonna go live in some way or another, it's probably a good idea to uncheck this accelerated crew training on the live server, that is, so you can start grinding some experience on your already fully kitted out tanks. So I'm just gonna go through all the levels here using the Sandbox test server free XP. So the like they have like different classes of heavy tanks, different classes of medium tanks, tank destroyers, so on. Kind of similar to how they do it in ranked battles, just not quite the same. So this is an assault heavy tank, and the E100 I think is also, yeah, assault. See, there are some which one is versatile? I think this one is versatile. Yeah, that's versatile, so that kind of changes what the different bonuses and options are going to be. Let's see, let's go back to the Panzer 7 here. So, you get the choice of different things that gives you buffs and nerfs, kind of. So, here on level 2, you get the choice of reinforced suspension or lightweight suspension. Reinforced gives you plus 10 suspension durability, that's like track hit points, and plus 15 to maintaining speed. I think they mean ground resistance. I think that's ground resistance, but it gives you minus 5% to traverse speed, and this one does the opposite. Now, I've already played a couple of battles, and it seems to me that, you know, maintaining speed, that's ground resistance, buffing that also buffs your traverse, except maybe on pavement. So it's kind of like a no-brainer to pick this one. And if you check out here, currently my dispersion is 0.35 at 100 meters. That's pretty good for a heavy tank. So I can choose here between -3 to the aiming circle size, or which also gives me a -5 to aiming speed. So if I pick that one, just for show, this is gonna go down to 0.34, which is a tiny little bit better. Aiming time is gonna be 2.56, while stock is 2.44. I can also buff the aiming speed down to 2.32, which debuffs the aiming, the accuracy to 0.36. Again, this one is much better, because the difference between 0.35 and 0.36 in accuracy, not that huge. But that aiming time, that's a pretty nice buff. And here, +5 to engine power, -3 to view range. Like, view range on a tank like this, is it really that important? Let's see, spotting, 429 view range, currently, and I have 1200 engine power, horsepower. So let's buff my horsepower to 1260. And view range 417. That's still, like, it's not great, but it's serviceable for a heavy tank. It's not like KV1 territory where you actually feel that lack of view range. And then you have these 3 levels down here, and I'm gonna show you what that is afterwards. Let's see here, reinforced turret. That's basically like a spall liner, but it gives me again minus the traverse speed and minus 2 kilometers per hour. So not percentage, but just pure kilometers to top speed. Right here, not sure if either of one of these is actually worth it. Auxiliary safety system. Again, not sure if any of these is actually worth it. Because this one actually gets ammo racked and engine damaged quite often already. But I also don't want to nerf my my dispersion. Now this one here is quite interesting. It already has the survivability category because it's a heavy tank, and I can choose one more category: mobility or firepower. I'm gonna go with firepower. Now let's go to the garage. As you can see, that's not gonna, adding a firepower slot to this tank is not gonna matter because I'm running purple equipment, which is already better than regular equipment in the corresponding slot. So this is actually pretty cool because it kind of levels the playing field between those who have purple equipment on their tank and those who have like just regular credit equipment, which is, I think that's a nice thing. But we've got some more stuff here. See, they've added these numbers here, and I can choose different loadouts. So here I've basically gone all in on buffing gun performance. So let's add a build here where I have hardening. And I already have these equipped. The bounty rotation mechanism, the bounty rammer, and the stabilizing equipment. So I'm gonna add these two. So they're not costing me anything extra because like they are already on the tank. I don't have to buy them twice. And in this case I'm also gonna go with yeah, let's see, this is like my let's say this is like a Himmelsdorf city map kind of setup, or having a few more hit points is better than being able to fire on the move. And in that case I want to buff the rate of fire maybe. And here I can do the same with ammo, so I can like have a full gold spamming loadout with food and large repair and large first aid. So I can in the countdown you're gonna see that in the replays I'm gonna include here. Let's see a message. Oh, it's from Manx. Advance Wars remake. Oh yeah, the E3 thing is going on. That's pretty cool. Just gonna reply to that. Okay, so, and also I've equipped my my Grille. I actually played a game with this, ended up on Himmelsdorf, and I was like, oh no, it's not gonna be a good map for this one. But with the buffs this received, it's actually not too bad. See, here's what I picked. Again, -5 to traverse speed, doesn't really matter. The +15 ground resistance is much better. And again, buffing the aiming speed, because the accuracy, you know, 0.26, that's still like best in tier, even if I debuff it to buff the aiming speed. And take a little bit of a hit to the view range, but I get a +7 concealment after firing. That's perfect for the grille. Again, I didn't pick any of these. I probably could. You know, here's kind of the same with this, but instead of aiming speed and accuracy, it's accuracy and rate of fire. But I just left it alone. Here, I could take +2 engine power and minus to aiming speed, but I just buffed the aiming speed because this one has pretty decent power to weight ratio already. Like, that's almost medium tank territory. So I did debuff the spotting, but it's still... I'm gonna show you what I did with this one. One of the setups I have, I gave it a... for the second category, gave it scouting. So I got rammer in the firepower slot, binocs in the scouting slot, and it's got a bounty rotation mechanism. But the other, and it's got camouflage on the crew directive, because all of these guys have 100% camouflage, so this one adds another 10%. It's pretty cool. So the alternate setup is bounty gun lane drive and rotation mechanism, just buffing the like the gun handling. So this one is for maps where camping in the bush is out of the question, and this one is for camping the bush. And this is what I would run in like pretty much all cases. And I also did the same to this Jagdpanzer E100. Got two different setups, got improve hardening or vents. And with the hardening, I've got this one in the firepower category slot, and yeah, as you can see. And this one is an assault tank destroyer, so it gets a -3 to dispersion on hull traverse, plus and like a +2 vehicle hit points. But I was playing this on Ensk, and I noticed it seemed a lot more nimble than it was. So I think this one is just purely a buff to all kind of handling aspects. Even if it says -5% to vehicle traverse speed, the +15 to well, it says to maintaining speed, but I'm pretty sure it's ground resistance. That's I think that more than weighs up for it. So Wargaming might have to take a look at this. And again, buffing the aiming speed. In this case, I actually buffed the view range rather than concealment after firing, because this one ain't hiding anywhere. And I took another like buff to hit points and crew protection at the cost of slightly less accuracy. But dispersion is still 0.33, that's decent. And here, not completely sure if this is worth it, but I think it is. So let's see how much, yeah, 1260 engine power. Not bad, not bad. Now let me play with my versatile heavy tank. Where did the E5 go? Let's buff this. Because these tanks have some interesting options. Again, Wargaming might want to take a look at some of this, because the trade-offs aren't... you're not really trading in anything useful to get that buff. Again, this seems like just better. See, what's my aiming time? 1.86, dispersion 0.34. Gonna leave this alone, actually. Plus 2 engine power, yes, please. And here, plus 2 kilometers per hour forwards and reverse at a cost of 10% turret rotation speed. That's a pretty good buff. Reinforced hull. Or lightweight hull. So here you can buff dispersion at the cost of taking more HE damage and stun, or you could go the other way. I'm gonna leave this alone for now. And for the second category, let's go with actually, let's go with firepower. And then I can put my vert stab in a firepower slot. And I can actually go for this one. So I think that's gonna make up for it. Actually, no. Let's see. Here's what I'm gonna do. Of course, reassign. Gonna go with mobility, and I'm gonna not go with either of these. And then I'm putting the turbo in the mobility slot. So again, much more speed and engine power. Mobility, let's see, 44 forwards, 17 backwards. That's the backward speed of I think it was 11 kilometers per hour stock. It's like one of the most annoying aspects of the T110 E5. So I just buffed that. Alternate loadout. I don't know. Let's go with Spolliner, which is, I don't think that's something I would go with on this tank in any situation. But for testing purposes. And let's go with like a loadout for spamming premium. Which is also including food and large repair. Oh, come on. Food, large repair, large first aid. Let's try this for a game. I'm just gonna do this live. And then I'm gonna add some short clips from my previous testing using other tanks. So here you can see I can't. It says you can select configuration before the countdown. Ah, it's before it ends. Okay. So yeah, you can't do anything until the countdown starts. You can do it either by mouse or with hotkeys. 3 artillery per side. I'm gonna go with that one, and I'm not gonna spam that much heat. Actually, no, I'm going with this one. And let's go to the hill. See how long it's gonna take me to get up there with all my engine power and top speed buffs. Probably just gonna die up there, because this is the test server. And I don't want to make this like a 15-minute battle. Also, the artillery changes are in effect on the test server, as are the high explosive changes. And the vehicle hit point things. Okay, that's Centurion Action X. Just got himself killed. Alright. You can see these little like circles on the minimap where artillery is hitting. I think that's what it is. New stuff anyway. Hello there, Mr. Chieftain.
We didn't penetrate their armor.
There you saw the artillery tracer coming in. I don't have my crew set up with that new commander skill yet. Yeah, no. Hold down against the chieftain. I'm not going to win that fight. That's kind of pointless. So they're gonna have to push up into here if they want to fight. Just gonna reload AP in case I have to shoot through some of that terrain. I know HE supposedly goes through now, but I don't think heat does. And here's the new like zoom out camera. It's pretty neat.
The shell bounced. Let me try my fist.
If only that Super Conk and the E50M got the hint that it's better to just kind of stay back and let Artie work them over. Maybe I should get that hint. damage log is gone. Ah, yeah. That was it. But you saw what I wanted to show you, which is like selecting different equipment for different maps. Where's my T49? Okay, I think when they because the Sandbox test server, they like copy your account that you have on the live server, but I think they have like a couple of weeks old copy, because some of the tanks I've recently gotten are not here. But the T49 is like a perfect example of what you can do with this new like multiple setup thing, where you can have one equipment setup for camping the bush on Malinovka or Prokhorovka, and you can have another setup for when that's not possible. And I think that's actually really cool, because currently if you get into a match on Prokhorovka and the light tank on the enemy team is set up with like Bionox and CVS and stuff like that, and let's say there's one light tank on each team and no EBRs, because then it doesn't matter anyway, and the light tank on the enemy team has that good like bush camping setup, just melting through the bushes with his magical vision and being totally invisible. And the light tank on your team has decided that, hey, most of the maps in the game are not Prokhorovka and Malinovka, so I'm just gonna buff my gun handling and maybe run the derp gun and shoot people in the ass. And you know, that logic makes sense, but in this situation on that map, your team has a useless light tank and the enemy team has a very useful light tank, and it's GG before the match starts. But now there's a decent chance that the light tank on your team will have like a secondary setup for, okay, I'm on Prokhorovka now, I want to use my bush camping setup, and he uses that, and both teams now have useful light tanks, and everything is better. Also, like someone with full purple equipment on their tank, even though this tank here is a piece of trash, it's a piece of trash that I like playing, it's not gonna be like too far ahead of someone with the regular like standard equipment, because he can now have another slot with like the firepower category or whatever. It's not quite as good like a rammer, standard rammer in a firepower slot. Still not as good as a bounty or a bond rammer, but it's not such a huge difference anymore. I think that's cool. Now, if I remember, let's add some clips to the end here of me playing the Jagdpanzer E100 on Ensk and the Grille on Himmelsdorf. I played more games than that, but those were like the most... they had something to show for it, I think. So yeah, like this concept. Some of the actual execution here needs to be looked at, like the stuff that is just obviously better than the alternative. And yeah, looks like a cool change, I think. Alright, so this was one battle I played on Himmelsdorf, and you can see me cycling through the different equipment setups here. So I've selected the one that buffs my gun handling, and yeah, Ammo setup's not too different.
Los geht's.
I'm just moving my gun around here and like trying to get a feel for how much these buffs actually matter. Because that's currently the like huge drawback with the Guerrilla 15. How much that aiming circle just blooms out. Not fast enough to get a shot on that IS-7.
Durchschlagstreffer.
Nice hit on the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen. Can I reload in time to get this EBR? Sadly no.
Gegnerischen Panzer getroffen.
And yes, I did feel the difference in the gun handling. It was quite nice. This EBR is gonna zoom in here. And just snack on the artillery. Not much I can do about that. The artillery is gonna be quite annoyed. So if I remember correctly, I try a shot like that and then I reload HE to try and hit the IS-7 turret, see what that's gonna do. The new HE changes. Probably not much. But see here now.
Fahrzeug verstärkt.
Nice penetration on the T100 LT. I did not play a lot of games on the test server. This was the only one I played in the Guerrilla 15.
Treffer, aber kein
No pen.
Durchschlag.
See what heat is gonna do. Or do I decide to move up? I don't remember. And yeah, the Sandbox test server is international, and although I am from Norway, my account is on the NA server.
Wir haben sie.
So the one of the artists that got eaten by the EBR. It's kind of like stupid American. He didn't like that I didn't save him from the wheeled vehicle. And see how fast that aiming circle shrinks now. It's so much more comfortable. Nice try. RT.
Panzer zerstört.
Like this is what this is like the good stuff about this this change. You get to fix some of the like really uncomfortable parts about your tanks at the cost of stuff you don't care about. On the downside of that, it's gonna lead to a lot of min-maxing. But I think the already very good tanks in the game, like the reward tanks and stuff like that, not gonna feel it too much. But tanks that are certainly not to be considered great in their tier, like this Guerrilla 15, you know, not gonna be quite so useless anymore. Let's check out one more replay. Alright, Jagdpanzer E100 on Ensk. And let's just wait until the countdown starts. There we go. and I select two different types of equipment and consumable loadouts. I've gone with the one with hardening here, because it's a city map, and I figured the extra hit points would go a long way. The alternate setup is with vents. So 2500 hit points, that's like right into tier 10 super heavy tank territory on a tank destroyer. Not bad. I'm hoping Mr. Type 5 is gonna cross in front here. But I know there's an ST2 on my left. He can't hit me, and Type 5 just doesn't come out to play. Can I get the ST2 in time? But he was just suiciding or something. So there's the 268 version 4. That was a good hit, and yeah, I do feel the gun handling on this too, because that's one of the aspects I buffed. Yeah, 268 version 4 is gone. I feel I can cross here. And I used the repair kit there. It would be nice if I hadn't and just instead just saw what kind of speed it repaired at naturally. Also, then I would have my repair kit still and I could fix my engine. But all the things considered, it doesn't feel like totally sluggish. I did consider this when setting it up, that this machine takes engine damage very often. And blap to the back. And this is pretty much over now. I'm just gonna wait for myself to fix the engine. The repair kit comes off cooldown. I'm not showing this to show you a great game or anything, but to see here. And fix the engine. There we go. Just driving down this road and doing some like snaking around. At this point I was just testing the mobility. It feels a lot more nimble than it used to. Like it doesn't lose all its speed doing those turns, and even if the whole traverse speed is supposedly nerfed by 5%, I didn't feel it. It felt like it was just purely buffed, and that's because of the reduced ground resistance, I think. Because I'm pretty sure that's what they mean with like maintaining speed. Plus 15% to maintaining speed. That sounds like ground resistance to me. Anyway, that's a brief look at some possibly upcoming changes. Some of it needs to be tweaked, in my opinion. Some of the options that are supposed to be trade-offs are just purely buffs. And you also get a buff to your tank just by leveling them up, which is like not sure if that was needed. basically just buffing every tank in the game, as long as you spend 224,000 experience on them, either by grinding out or using free experience. Yeah, that might have to be from the video from Wargaming. What they said was, oh, it's not gonna make any tank into like a super tank. It's just gonna let you tweak them to your liking, which is nice. You know, I always like more being able to personalize my tanks, but it does kind of make them into super vehicles compared to those that have not been buffed. Yeah. We'll see what this is gonna be when it maybe hits the live server one day, and it's probably gonna go through a couple more iterations on the Sandbox test server before that. So we will see. Again, I like the concept. Execution needs more work. Goodbye and take care.